Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Chloe Arroyo.
And I'm Kennedy Patterson. We begin with the drastic change in temperatures across the state. Students have officially traded t-shirts for crew necks this morning as the cooler weather kicked in.
OU Nightly meteorologist Carlin McCreary is live outside the McFarland Pumpkin Patch with everything you need to know about this new weather. Carlin, the walk to class was chilly this morning.
Yeah, it definitely was. Chloe, I had to bring the Uggs out on the way to class this morning, and I feel like it's a little bit early for that. This morning we had temperatures in the low 30s. It was not that comfortable outside. You know, it was very cool, not pumpkin patch weather to go out and get a pumpkin like I have. But overnight tonight, those lows are going to be in the low 40s. Some areas even seeing the mid 40s as well. So not necessarily seasonable temperatures, but as for Oklahoma this time of year, you know, we have those roller coaster temperatures where we could see temperatures in the 40s one day and temperatures in the 70s the next day. It's just how the atmosphere here works out. So also something that is seasonable right now is those allergies. They're just through the roof with mold and weeds both at a high level. So don't forget about that. And coming up in just a minute, OU Nightly meteorologist Sam Patterson is going to talk a little bit about the warm up on the way. So don't bring the cold type of clothes out just yet. No coats, because we are going to bring those clothes out next week for summer because it's going to be warm. Ladies?
Thanks, Carlin. Every time the temperature drops, the need rises for Norman's unhoused community. Food and Shelter says it's in desperate need of cold weather gear such as gloves, socks, jackets, and blankets. They want you to know that there are many small ways you can make an impact, even if it doesn't seem like much.
We're lacking resources here in Norman, so if there's a way that you can donate, even if you can't pitch in financially. If you have some extra blankets in your closet, or if you have some gently used things that you could donate.
If you're interested in making a donation, check out their list of most needed items at foodandshelterinc.org.
Another common problem when it first gets cold each fall, tire pressure trouble. We've all had it before. Now you may be seeing a light like these popping up on your car's dashboard. When the first few cold fronts move in, tire pressure drops. The warning lights are meant to remind you to fill your tires. Drivers not confident in airing up their own tires can visit a store like Hibdon's or Discount Tire. Most places provide free air checks.
And a 72-year-old Oklahoma woman and a 63-year-old man from California are dead after being dragged into the ocean in Hawaii. Honolulu Ocean Safety reports that waves were 6 to 8 feet when the tragedy happened Tuesday morning. Authorities say the closest lifeguard was about a half-mile away. Another Oklahoman woman was also hospitalized. She is still in serious condition.
Now on to Texas, where the first and only debate for U.S. Senate got pretty heated last night. Senator Ted Cruz faced off against his Democratic challenger, Colin Allred. OU Nightly's Willie Gillespie is live in the newsroom with details.
Yeah, that's right, Chloe. The debate held in Dallas touched on a number of issues, including what happened on January 6th.
You can't be for the mob on January 6th and for the officers. You can't. And it's not funny. Because you're a threat to democracy. Sure. I was on the House floor when we went through the votes. I remember when you objected to the results in Arizona.
I think the Biden-Harris administration has persecuted some engaged in peaceful speech, and if you are being persecuted for peaceful speech, absolutely you should be pardoned. If you engaged in violence, absolutely not, you should not be pardoned.
Now, two new polls show Cruz holds between a 4 to 5 percentage point lead over Allred, and those same polls show former President Donald Trump leading Vice President Harris in Texas by 7 percentage points. Now, we're just under 3 weeks away from election night in America, and OU Nightly will have full team coverage of this race and other local, regional, and national elections. I'm live in the newsroom. Willie Gillespie, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Willie. The Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles denies clemency for a man accused of killing his 2-year-old daughter. Robert Roberson is set to be executed tomorrow. This would make Roberson the first person in the U.S. executed for murder tied to shaken baby syndrome. A group of bipartisan Texas lawmakers, medical experts, and others are calling to stop the execution. They say that his conviction was based on outdated scientific evidence and that Roberson's daughter died from complications with pneumonia. Governor Greg Abbott can only grant clemency after approval from the board.
After recent assassination attempts against Donald Trump, a new law promises better protections for presidential candidates. Gaylord News reporter Victoria Anderson has more.
Protecting the sitting president is the #1 priority of the Secret Service. But after a series of recent assassination attempts on the campaign trail, politicians like Senator James Lankford are looking for more ways to protect candidates before they even get to the White House.
This is something every Secret Service agent wakes up every single day and wants to avoid.
After several close calls this campaign season, the Secret Service is facing a wake-up call from Capitol Hill. A new bill called the Enhanced Presidential Security Act, signed into law this month, calls for the same amount of Secret Service protection for major presidential candidates as the sitting president. But for those without the black suit and earpiece, understanding the magnitude of this move is difficult.
VIPs you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Nixon and current presidents to Bill Clinton.
We spoke with retired Secret Service agent Joseph La Sorsa to help us break down what this means for agents.
And you have tiered levels of protection. Obviously, when something happens like this, it's going to change everybody's perspective.
But the agency has been in the hot seat long before gun violence hit the campaign stage. Statistics show that the agency lost 10% of their manpower in the past decade. But La Sorsa says working under pressure is what the agency does best.
You have to get creative. They do that all the time, and now they'll just continue to do it on a candidate level.
The bill came with calls of praise from the Sooner State. In a statement, co-signer Senator Lankford said, "Amid these threats, we cannot sit back and ignore the security risks to a presidential nominee." And as Election Day gets closer and closer and candidates make their final pleas and promises, Secret Service agents are right by their side with a new assignment full of new challenges. Reporting in Washington, D.C., Victoria Anderson, Gaylord News.
Now, the bill is already playing out across the country as candidates have a few more campaign stops before America casts their vote.
And multiple explosions at a Texas propane plant sparks a massive fire this afternoon. Julia Roberts has the details and the rest of today's national and international headlines from the News Center.
Kennedy, right now we know at least one person was hurt after multiple explosions sent that facility up into flames. The flames erupted at Rapid Exchange Propane in Waller County near Houston, sending metal flying into the air. Officials says about 14 people were evacuated safely and the fire is contained. Residents are being asked to avoid the area. The U.S. Department of Transportation fines Germany's largest airline $4 million for stopping Jewish passengers from boarding a plane. The department says 128 travelers were denied boarding back in 2022, keeping that group from catching their connecting flight. In a statement, the airline says it's fully cooperating with the DOT's investigation. Also, a Georgia judge stops a rule that will require the state's election board to hand count ballots. The rule would have required election board officials to hand count the ballots in order to confirm the number tallied by voting machines. The Fulton County judge ruled that there has not been enough training for protocols to handle write-in ballots. And Lyft is offering a discounted ride to voters who need a ride to polls on November 5th. Users can get 50% off their ride with the code VOTE24. Chloe, Kennedy, back to you ladies.
Well, thanks, Julia. Now, the East Coast residents left without essentials after the two recent hurricanes.
Stick around and hear the reason for the delay in aid to those affected.
Plus, you may have noticed a few extra monarch butterflies in the area.
We'll tell you why that is after the break.
Hurricanes are causing
Milton and Helene are causing shortages of critical resources in the U.S. Plus, a drought is causing the Mississippi River to record record low numbers. Colson Pocock has more in Earth Report.
After Hurricane Helene and Milton devastate parts of the southeast, the U.S. is now facing shortages of some crucial resources. In North Carolina, officials say IV fluid supply is critically low, and Florida is working with ports to restore fuel supply. The Small Business Administration says its disaster loan program is out of money, which will likely delay getting aid to those impacted by the hurricanes. Low river levels due to a drought in southern Missouri reveals a path once covered towards a natural landmark in the Mississippi River. The river dropped below 1.5 feet. And this is the third year in a row it's been exposed. Officials say this could be the new normal. Climate models predict that the region could soon face long and dramatic droughts. And it's that time of the year. Monarch butterflies are migrating to Mexico to avoid the U.S. and Canada's harsh winters. These butterflies travel over 600 miles to their wintering grounds, including a pass through Oklahoma. The butterflies can be seen all over the Sooner State, even here on campus. This super generation of butterflies will spend their winter in Mexico. Then they will make their way back around February or March. And Kenya relocated 50 elephants to a larger park due to overpopulation. According to Kenya wildlife officials, this is due to low poaching and success of conservation efforts. Kennedy, Chloe, back to you.
Thanks, Colson. It's homecoming week at OU, and there's no signs of stopping the festivities.
Find out how campus organizations are keeping the school spirit alive when we return.
And it's October, but we're on our way to October. Just how hot it will get coming up. Welcome back to OU Nightly. A beautiful day for us here in Norman, Oklahoma. Clear skies. The sun is shining. Fortunately, it's a little bit on the colder side right now. 64 degrees for us currently in Norman. Also, dew point 24 right now. That's attributing to increased levels of pollen. And as we move throughout the month, if we can get there we go. You can see we started off the month, temperatures in the 90s. Throughout the first week, temperatures in the mid 80s. And we're down 15, 20 degrees since that second week of October. But unfortunately, while we're cold now, the warm is back on the way as we head throughout your Thursday. Going to start a little bit on the cooler side, 40 degrees as we move throughout the day. Going to start pushing 70 degrees. So on the colder side for us tomorrow, but unfortunately, that is going to change in the upcoming days. Take a look here at Saturday. Got some low pressure out towards our west. We could see a few rain shower chances, mostly for western and northwestern Oklahoma. But we might see a few scattered showers early Monday morning. Unfortunately, once these storm chances move on through, you can see the red and yellows coming back up. We're going to warm back up on the other side of that, as you can tell. Next 6 to 10 days going to be pretty below average for rainfall. Now, if you live up north or know anybody that does live up north, they might get a little bit more than what we're seeing here. But it's going to be pretty typical October for us, dry and warm. As you can see, allergies right now, weeds at a high level, mold at a high level as well. As I said, it's going to continue out for the next little while as we're just going to be so dry and so warm over the next several days. As you can see perfectly right here, tomorrow we're still going to be below 70. Pretty nice for our weekend, 75 on Saturday as Oklahoma hosts South Carolina for our homecoming. And then early next week, already pushing 80 degrees once again. Could see the mid to upper 80s early next week. Again, we will have a small rain chance early next week. But for the most part, typical October, hot, dry. I don't know if I love it. I don't love it. I absolutely don't love it. But it's what we get for this time of year.
You know, let's just pick a temperature. One or the other, because we're struggling. I heard you sniffling in the commercial break.
Yes, and with these temperatures, I'll be sniffling for another 2 weeks from the looks of it.
A coat one day, tank top the next. So
yeah.
Get a little bit of everything this time of year.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks.
All right, and we're halfway through homecoming week, but the festivities are still going on all week long. The homecoming committee gave out free donuts this morning, and if you're walking on the South Oval today, you'll see the boards and the chalk squares made by each organization of the committee, and it's all in support of OU.
Just to keep campus morale up. It's just a fun time to get away from the normal just going to classes and just it's like a big party for OU, just a celebration of OU.
The fun continues tonight with a 5K glow run around campus. The proceeds will go to pediatric health and wellness programs. The run is set to start at 6:30.
And the Sooners are back from Dallas and couldn't find the end zone against Texas on Saturday.
Hallie, is Brent Venables dealing with a quarterback controversy again?
You're just going to have to wait and see next in sports. Football's not the only sport we'll be talking. Stick with us because court is now in session for Porter Moser and Jenny Baranchek. Hello, I'm Hallie McPherson and it's time for sports. A familiar face of the program has been the topic of conversation this week. Former five-star recruit Jackson Arnold has had a change of roles after Oklahoma's first SEC game. While watching a freshman take his spot on the field at starting quarterback, Brent Venable says Arnold still has a chance to make an impact for the team.
What was told to Jackson, we put you in, it's because we need you to help us go win. And, you know, we're certainly sensitive to everything. We're not sitting here with our head in the sand or naive to what it is, but man, he's a great teammate. He's had a very mature mindset with everything.
Arnold's other half in the backfield added on to that positive mindset. Running back Javonte Barnes says nothing has changed about Arnold as a teammate, even when on the sideline.
Jackson is the same person since he got here last year. I mean, obviously, you don't want to be out there with your guys, and you don't want to contribute to anything we're doing. As a competitor, I know that's what he wants, but he's been doing a good job with just, you know, keeping a smile on his face and helping no matter what.
OU men's hoops are swishing their way into the SEC. They traveled to SEC Media Day, entering the season second to last in the SEC media poll. Head coach Porter Moser holds his expectations high for this new conference.
This level, the SEC, I mean, there's unbelievable coaches. The talent level is tremendous. Just been watching a lot of games. We've played SEC teams. The SEC is going to take a backseat to nobody this year, and I think it's going to be the best league in the country this year.
OU women's basketball team is not losing much as they head into the SEC, returning 5 of their starters and earning a spot in the top 10 of the preseason Associated Press poll. Head coach Jenny Baranchek says new league or not, the focus stays the same.
The answer still remains the same in terms of when you enter into the league. It's not necessarily about what you're ranked or how you feel like you're going to translate. It's the teams that want to get better every day, that want to be addicted to growing, and that's what we want to be able to do. We want to continue to get better.
Sticking with the ladies and sliding to the diamond, OU softball already competed against their biggest competition, themselves. They now hit the road northeast for a fall ball scrimmage against Texas A&M Commerce tonight at 6. Kennedy, Chloe.
All right, well, thanks so much, Hallie. Still ahead, an update on the newest residents of Washington, D.C.
Stick around to hear about the pandas' arrival and when they'll make their debut.
I'm Kariana Gamboa with breaking news. We are just learning that Liam Payne, former One Direction singer, has been found dead in Buenos Aires. CNN is reporting he fell from the 3rd story of a hotel. Liam Payne was 31 years old. We will keep following this story and have new information as soon as it's available.
Well, thank you, Kariana, for the update. Now, on Monday, we covered 2 pandas as they traveled to the Smithsonian National Zoo for their new home. Here's an update on the playful pair.
They arrived to the Smithsonian on Tuesday in these large crates and are now getting acclimated by stretching their legs and munching on some bamboo. Zoo members can get a preview of the cuddly arrivals on January 10th, and they'll make their official debut on the 24th.
Well, thank goodness they weren't traveling to Oklahoma as of this morning.
Yeah, I might not be a panda bear, but I was told by all of our lovely people behind the scenes that I'm the bearer of bad news. Unfortunately, that's what we have for this time of year. Mid-70s for us the next couple of days, and then early next week, back into those mid-80s.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Sam, for the update. And thank you for watching OU Nightly. I'm Chloe Arroyo.
And I'm Kennedy Patterson. Be sure to watch OU Nightly live weekdays at 4:30. Good night.